Hello, everybody. What's going on? It's Jacob Doodle here and Corey, the Canucks news summary guy. We're going to be doing the Vancouver Canucks preview today with the Abbotsford Center game in the preseason. It's at 7 p.m., and it's going to be really interesting to see how this all shakes up. And we're going to be talking about the lines, power play units, pretty much a little bit of everything. What's going on, Corey?
Yes, this is Corey reporting on site, 5 minutes away from the Abbotsford Center. No one has shown up for the game yet, but I'm sure the fans will be swarming at any time.
At any moment now.
hmm hmm
Also, quickly, guys, if you guys haven't watched my interview with Brandon Asto, like it was real fun. The Abbotsford Canucks play-by-play guy down there. Go check that out. It was a beauty. It's on my channel. I'm sure you guys can find it there somewhere. And also like and subscribe if you guys enjoy these type of videos. So let's get straight into it. So this is what the lines are looking like for the Canucks tomorrow. And I'm just curious, Corey, specifically, which players here are you kind of most interested to see tomorrow?
I've got
Or today,
amongst
sorry.
amongst the forwards. I There's five players on here. Yeadle is the first one, and he didn't have an amazing first preseason game. Whatever, that's fine. It's the Kraken played an entire squad, their NHL team, and the Canucks kind of threw a bunch of young guys out there to see what
Mm-hmm.
would happen. But he needs to show more, and he needs to show more just because like his spot is something that the Canucks don't want him in. They said that at the end of the year. They said that it'd be more dangerous or more costly not to go out and get a second line center.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, he's a second line center. Like that, the writing's on the wall right there. Other guys, Baines. I like Baines. I like Baines more than a lot of people. I think Baines would actually was like fine in the previous game, but he does need to show more. He needs to take more risks. We've talked at length about this, about like Baines has traits. He just needs to actually show them in the NHL. Kravtsov, obvious reasons, he needs to show something. I I was unimpressed in his games of a couple years ago, so he needs to show something. And the other guy is LeBate because he did show really well. So he's
Mm-hmm.
a guy on an AHL deal, basically just trying to buy himself another game and show like, hey, I can be something for this team.
Mm-hmm.
And he's
And
a former Canuck draft pick, which is kind of funny, like
yeah,
returning home.
that's actually pretty wild too. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Filipino is an interesting name. He did get criticized a little bit in that first game. It was the first preseason game. Maybe he just was trying not to get hurt, even though he took like an elbow to face in the very first shift, which was kind of crazy. But he finished the game and he
Yep.
skated well. It's just he wasn't really doing much with it. And we would like to see a little bit more from him. But again, just stay healthy. But you know what? Like you said, man, Alvin and Jim Rutherford said they're still looking for a 2C. There is that devil on his shoulder that you need to go and play well, or else they're going to just say, hey, you know what? Fuck it. Let's call Boston and let's see what Zaka's up to. Apparently, a couple days ago, there was a report with Sank Saravelli that he basically went out and said that, hey, he's potentially available. Like he's ready. They're ready to rock with him. So
Yep.
interesting, right there. So also Baines is an interesting name. Hopefully he has a little bit of a bounce back. Hoglander, he's going to bring the effort at the very least. I don't think he needs to show too much. I think he's pretty locked. I want to see Sasson at center. I want to see how bad he's going to be on the face-off. So hopefully he's improved. Because a lot of this is the Vancouver Canucks set up. Like I'm not saying that to be critical. The Vancouver Canucks said themselves that they see him as a winger, not a center, and then they put him on center this whole camp. So that's really interesting. So I just want to see him have a good game because I am a huge Sasson guy. He's fast. He has decent ability. And he's a good forechecker. He actually reminds me of, I guess I'm gonna say this kind of a mean thing to say, but like a less skilled version of Hoglander, I guess in a weird way like that. No?
Sure. He kind of reminds me of, and I'm going to say this as a compliment because this is NHL
Mm-hmm.
players. He reminds me of basically every single fourth liner who's played 300 games in the NHL that you
Mm-hmm.
kind of forget ever played. And that's like a positive. That's several seasons in the NHL. Like,
Yeah.
and for an undrafted college free agent who played in the AHL for, two full seasons, maybe even, two and a half going into this year, like that's awesome. That's fantastic. And if he can even develop into a fourth liner, great. Either as a winger or a center. One of the better things for him is if he can be a winger with some center utility, great. And there's a parallel to his career actually on this roster, and that's Neil Zaman, whose problem is they keep playing him in center, and the guy can't win faceoffs, and he was
Hmm.
atrocious. And so here's another thing: I pointed out that Yedel and Aman were really bad in faceoffs in Game 1. And now I'm not someone who say faceoffs. I don't think faceoffs are as important as people say. Individual face-offs are, but like overall, if you're just hovering around 45, 55%, that's fine. Like there's not actually a big difference between 45 and 55 over the course of a full season. That's like one extra face-off a whole year. That's
Hmm.
not like that big of a deal. Neil Zaman is not good at face-offs, so you throw him out there on a defensive zone draw, you're basically giving it to the other team. Sasson, for him to be an NHL center, needs to have that ability. That's why Ratu is so interesting to the Canucks,
Hmm.
because he could just win them at an incredibly high rate. So you trust him to go out there.
Yeah, and Ratu is going to be playing in this game as
Yep.
the 3C there, so he's going to get an opportunity. And a really interesting name is Ulrichsen, man. If he comes out,
Yeah.
because right now Carlson has, in my opinion, a spot. Like he is the
Yeah.
guy has to lose the job more than anything. And Ulrichsen is one of the guys who can take that job. Now, is it likely? Probably not. But you know what? If he goes out and he has a big game, scores a goal, lays a bunch of hits, like just plays physical and because he's a handsy guy for a big guy. He's not the most
Yep.
physical guy for a big guy, but if he shows that, right, that's what they're looking for. Because we need more size and we need more strength on this roster. This is something they've talked about. So he has a shot. It's unlikely, but you never know. So that would be nice to
Yeah.
see if he has a big game there. And I agree with you on Kraftsoft there and LeBate. It's going to be interesting to see how those guys do. LeBate, like he's going to fight someone. I have
Yeah.
a feeling he really he's taking this super seriously. Not going to make the Canucks, but hey, the Abbotsford Canucks. We just lost Sammy Blay, right? So it'd be interesting. He's a kind of decent replacement there.
He's putting
For
himself in that Blade territory, right? Where like
yeah,
Blade
yeah.
parlayed an amazing season into what's a one-way contract, right? Like even if Blay is cut from the Canadians, he's still making a bunch of money for the year, and that's what LeBate is
Mm.
basically trying to do. Like show that, hey, I'm either worth a call up, or I'm worth a one-way contract next year. Where I'm
Mm.
worth it. I'm worth something.
Now, Marcus Pettersson's going to be playing with Willander. We have
Mm-hmm.
Kudryavtsev with Myers, and we have Mancini with how do you pronounce it again?
Nizov.
Nizov. So Abbotsford guy, the
Yep.
Abbotsford only guy, I guess they signed there. So another test for Willander, right? Like he's going to get
Yep.
more big minutes. Last game I thought he was pretty up and down. I saw actually most of Twitter were pretty happy with him overall, and I think I was too, but I think the first period and a half, he started again like kind of slow, and then he ramped up the pace and he played really well by the end. This is becoming a bit of a pattern with him. What I'm seeing is like he seems to he needs to like ramp himself up. I have no idea why, don't have a clue. But that's just something I've noticed with him. But when he's on his game, he wins puck battles, he moves the puck well, passes the puck well. He's a good, solid defensive type defenseman right now. Now, does he have that offensive talent in his system? Well, we're going to find out in the future. Right now, it looks like, DPD and Junior might have, from what I've seen, just my eye test, that DPD has more offensive ability than Willander. But again, that's just my eye test. I'm sure it can change over time. So this is what they're going with. Kudryavtsev, another good shot to
Mm-hmm.
have another good game because he probably wants to be the first call up from Abbotsford when that time eventually comes because there'll be injuries like usually. And
Mm-hmm.
Mancini, can he have another big game? He was really good. He was really, really good for us in that last game. So I know he had a couple turnovers creating plays, but you know what? He was aggressive. He was dictating play, and sometimes you make mistakes when you do that, but he was doing it in a positive way more than a negative way. It's not like he was throwing like like absolute dynamites in the middle of the ice. No, he was trying to make plays. Sometimes he turned the puck over. So that's what we got there on the defense. What do you think?
I have a really hard time, and I think everyone should, actually gleaning a lot of usable information from these early preseason games for young players. For NHLers like Yeadle that are really fighting for a spot, or guys like Kratzov who ostensibly need to be an NHLer and need to show something with every chance, like those guys need to be bringing it and showing what they have. Willander, Kudryavtsev, Mancini's a little bit like that. Since he's a bit older, it's a little bit different. But like the pace is different. The players they're facing are different. The structure's different. Like it's great. Willander's on the top pairing with Marcus Pettersson, except like there's a massive hole in the Canucks lineup in terms of like who else is on the team, right? So
Mm.
okay, sure, he could have a great game. Well, how does he look playing third pair minutes with Hughes and Roenick above him? How does he look with the rest of the team? How does he look versus the top players? How is he on the other team, on the
Mm.
Flames or whoever else he's playing, right? So I have a really hard time. Like, yeah, he looked good. I'm like, yeah, but okay, it's like a pond hockey game almost. It's very hard to glean any actual information from there.
Mm-hmm.
So
And just to let you
I try to
go
look
ahead.
for like the individual plays or individual things like based on it and try to compartmentalize it. So I'm like, yeah, I thought he was fine last game, but eh, I don't actually think that this is valuable information. You talk to NHL players and you see like even coaches and all that play say like they kind of say the same thing. It's why it's being reduced down to 4 games, right? Because you don't actually.
Mm.
This is just like extended practices where some guys are trying to go out there and hurt people so they can get a shot. I mean, that's what LeBate's doing, and other guys are like going at 50% speed. Like, did you see Zadorov scored a goal and just left? He scored the overtime
Mm.
winner today in the game, and he just left. He just literally turned the door, opened the door, and walked away. Like
Zadorov?
that's how. Yeah, yep. He just literally scored the goal.
Well,
Turned the door was there, and because they have like that corner door, and he just left. It's just like,
well,
yeah, right.
with LeBay, I don't think he's going out trying to injure thing, but what he's trying to do,
No,
he's trying to be physical,
physical.
and
Yes.
yeah, I know
Yeah.
what you meant. I figured I just wanted to clarify that just for the
Yeah.
obvious reasons. But it's and also I forgot to mention I'm going to be doing a full blown pre-show tomorrow before the game as well. So make sure it's going to be a live stream. So we're going to have the Calgary Flames lineups, and we're going to go way more detailed or way more in deep that time as well. So that's what we have for the defense. Pretty interesting. So now let's talk about a little bit differently now on the power play, because this is not for this specific game, but this is probably for the future. And we had EP40 setting up on the right half wall, Besser in the
Mhm.
bumper slot,
Yep.
Jake DeBrusk at the net front, which makes sense. He's kind of the JVR type guy. And you have Kane on the left boards. Hopefully that he opens up some room with his physicality. And obviously Quinn Hughes on top. And this is how it's going to be looking. So again, this is what we kind of have here. And then we also have the second power play unit there. I don't think there's too much talkable except for the fact that Coots is an absolute superstar. And this is so, yeah, we're going to be making a video on Coots. It's going to be interesting to see which side you're on, because some people think he's been insanely good and other people are saying he's been pretty good. All right. Power play. Jake DeBrusk, Kane, Besser, EP40, and Hughes. What do you see there? And before you get into it, I would like to mention in that last game, I don't know if it's foreshadowing or nothing, drove me kind of crazy. I'm not a hater of the back pass. I'm not whatsoever. But doing it every single time they tried to rush, it was crazy. And they had, what was interesting is they had 3 guys lined up. So they did the one pass, and then they have the 3 guys lined up in the middle before they tried to dump it in. They did that over and over and over and over. That's what we saw last year on the power play. So are they running back the same power play style setup just with Kane instead of Miller?
Well, it's a different power play coach. It's Brett McLean.
Hmm.
So it's an entirely
Looked
different
pretty
coaching
similar
staff.
in the first preseason game. I don't know if they're trying to not show off their actual power play, but like they had 6
Well,
opportunities. It's not like they had 1 or 2. Like we
I don't.
had
Were any of the players on that power play
true, but
actually in any of these lineups other than Sherwood and Minio? Sherwood,
true,
Minio, and Lekaramaki Coots, right? So that
true.
second unit is the only unit. Is like none of DeBrusk, Kane, Besser, Pedersen, or Hughes played in that game. So we don't know. We're
We
trying
don't know.
trying to glean. Yeah, we don't know what those guys are going to do. Are there going to be a lot of back passes? Hell yeah, they're going to be a lot of back passes because teams love the back pass. They love the drop pass. You do that because it allows the other player to start
Mhm.
behind everyone. Everyone else starts ahead, so they carry him with speed. And as they're at full speed, the other guys are coming in with them. So it pushes everyone back. Like the drop pass, back pass, all that. It is a really, really good strategy. It works excellent. You just need to have a couple other
Hmm.
tools to get it in.
Yeah.
Like people get on it. The entries were a problem for the Canucks. It was just dysfunction, all sorts of different things. Like in terms of what this is going to look like, you basically DeBrusque, Kane, and Besser can all basically rotate between themselves, which is actually quite nice. Like DeBrusque, Besser, and Kane can all play net front. So you start with DeBrusque, you can rotate depending on the cycle. You can rotate depending on what's going on, and then that basically leaves Pedersen and Hughes as the quarterback, and then Pedersen as in the off man. What I'm interested in is something was pretty underrated from a few years ago, where the power play started to get really bad. Was an underrated aspect to the power play was Andrei Kuzmenko. And
Mm.
not for reasons people think. It was that he was a really good safety release valve. So when things were going bad, where they didn't have any other play, they would just pass back to him and he would reset everything. And it worked. It worked so good. The problem is he completely lost Talkett's trust and he was basically booted from the team
Hmm.
immediately. But leading up to that, like that was the one thing he still had, even when he wasn't doing great. And so I'm curious if Kane or Pedersen are going to kind of play that role where basically, okay, we're not able to set anything up, but you always have one guy open, so you get the puck back to that guy, and then you kind of play give and go with Hughes a bit, and then get everything set up again.
Hmm. Yeah. And I will say this, just looking at what they have, having Besser at the bumper does make sense.
Yep.
I just, what I want to see, and what I don't want to see, is just Elias Pettersson standing there waiting for the slapper,
Yeah.
right? I want to see him more engaged. I want to see a lot more puck movement on the power play unit. I think that's extremely important. And one final note on the back pass situation. There's three teams that have reduced their amount of back passing significantly: the Florida Panthers, the Carolina Hurricanes, and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Those are three teams that used to back pass like crazy. They slowed it down. Not saying they don't do it, but
Yeah.
they've slowed it. They changed it. They adjusted. Sometimes they'll do the back pass. The next time they'll have the two guys on the corners there with the one guy moving up. Then the other time they'll have one or two guys on one side, and then they'll dump the puck all the way around to the left side around the boards. So they mix it up. That's important because you can't be static. You can't be like, you do the back pass and then, oh, it didn't work, let's do the back pass again. No. I want to see some more creativity, get some more neutral zone speed, use our fast players. I want to see Elias Pettersson. I know he's not the fast guy, but he's good with his hands. Drive and kind of create like that initial rush on the power play, not just Quinn Hughes every time. Listen, I'm not saying Quinn Hughes can't do it 80% of the time. I'm just saying I would like to see PD do it a little bit more too, because he can do it. Like we saw him do it in the past. He can definitely do it. I think I just want to see more puck movement. I think it's going to be fine. I'm curious to see how this all happens. And you're right. We have a new power play guy running the show, and I just don't want to see them running the same thing. So that's what we kind of have there for the power plays. Now, so this is also the second unit there. Just to look at it real quick here with DeBrusque, Tweedy, Besser, Kane, Coots, and Lekaramaki there together. We have O'Connor, Bluger, Sherwood, which, you know, that could be an actual pairing in the regular season. Minio, Hendricks City making his retirement comeback.
Yeah.
Hendrick City is in that second, and I'm sure he looked fantastic. And Klimovich, it's I feel bad for Klimovich, eh? Because like
You get to play with Hank.
Yeah,
I feel.
I guess
I
maybe
don't know. I feel bad for Minio because he's playing
Minio.
fourth. He's playing fourth line left wing, in which, if you look at this, you go, well, are you behind Jimmy Schultz? Who's is that what's going on there? So
I will say with Minio, I think there was a report that he might have tweaked something, so maybe
yeah,
they're just
yeah.
trying to be safe with him. But Klimovich, I haven't heard of any sort of tweak, so I think he was kind
No,
of
he's
just the
just
odd
bad at
man.
hockey.
Yeah, I'm just the odd man. That's so mean. You're a mean Klimovich non-fan. Okay, Hughes.
He's gonna score a goal on October 24th when I go to that first game, and it's because it happens every time I'm there, and I'm gonna cheer just as loud as ever. I don't hate.
He had some. He had some.
He's
Obviously not. Obviously, we're not. It's not like that. And we have Hughes with Hronik there. DPD with Pierre Olivier Joseph Schultz. and Alcos with Artson and Lee. So that's what we kind of had in the little group, and not too much to take out of it, other than the fact that the O'Connor, Bluger, Sherwood line, we could possibly see that, and Kane with Coots and Legeramaki, we might see that for a game as well. So that's kind of interesting there. Here's Quinn Hughes' impressions on the Canucks camp. As far as being a team, there's definitely something we can control. It's early, but it's been a good start to that. I just think that we have probably more of a connected group. Everybody's on the same page, excited to get going. So Quinn's basically saying once again, they're more connected this year, and there's no locker room drama is basically what he's saying.
No one came
and
in
everybody's
angry
on the,
and
yes.
yelling at each other and like decided to use day one to set
Yeah.
I don't know how things got so weird last year, but it seemed
Yeah.
it started off like people came in just angry to begin with, and this year it's coming in going like I don't know. This year it's almost more like eggshells. Like we have to win to keep this guy around. I don't think the players necessarily think that. They realize it, but I don't think they necessarily like are thinking of that. They just do it. They always want to do make the playoffs and just reduce the noise. And when hey, a benefit of reducing noise normally means you can actually make some trades when you're not under
Yeah,
duress. Like
that's true.
that's how they got Zadorov. That's how they got that's how when was it traded Pavillier before, then acquired Zadorov, and then got Lindholm, and it's these like series of trades you can kind of make quietly, right? Like because you can work behind the scenes. You don't have like every national reporter asking constantly and bugging and going in and calling up every GM they can and stirring the pot. No, that like there's other teams
just
that are
some peace and quiet and zen and less drama this year is all we ask for, and a decent season would be nice. Jeff Patterson here mentioned that Adam Foote says that Connor Garland, dealing with something minor, would play if the regular season, but probably won't play tomorrow in Abbotsford. So it's probably, so I guess there is a chance that he might still play, but it looks like they're trying to be safe with him, which is absolutely 100% the right call, unless there's a new report here saying that he's definitely not playing. Did you see anything, Corey?
I think I saw something that said he's not playing.
Okay, so this is a little bit outdated, I guess, from 120, and it looks like
I think it was just a further sentence. Like I think I read the whole quote, and like he kind of says, "Oh, he probably won't play," and then like the very next sentence is, "So that's why he's not playing." It's like, right, but and it's the thing where you read it, it's funny, and then you realize, well, that's how humans talk. Like humans don't make perfect sense all the time when you talk. Like when I was trying to do one of Foot's post game from the first one, he said a thing. He's like, "We saw some things." I'm like, everyone saw, what did you see? And he said like two sentences. I'm like, this makes no sense. I don't know how to summarize this. And so I just wrote, they saw some things. And I was just like, like sometimes people say something and you're like, it makes sense in your brain. It doesn't make sense as an actual quote when you're reading it. And I think that's kind of this, where he's like contradicting himself a bit. But yeah, Garland's not going to play. He would play. He went on to say that part of the reason for holding him out is because they're viewing it as a condensed season, right? Because you have all those games before and all the games after the Olympics. So because of that, they really want to just rest players as much as possible. Any little nagging injuries, especially in the preseason, they'll just hold you out.
Smart.
Yeah, but it's like you said, if the season started
it.
tomorrow, they play them because it's just that kind of little thing. But it's like, no, we'll just
let these guys rest, for the love of God. Let them be 100%, even if they don't play a preseason. I'd rather have rust than injuries all day, every day.
Hey, can you wait? Pull up the line, the second, the practice lines again, not for the game, but for the practice. The next one, yeah. You know what's interesting? I haven't seen Forbert much in the practices come up since that scrimmage. He's not in this one. That is interesting.
Maybe he's just a big vet there. Maybe they're just giving him a little.
Well, my speculation with him, like people keep, this thing with him is he's going to rotate, or he should be rotating in, which is what the idea of having like 8 defensemen, if that's where they're going to go. And that's the other thing with Coots is you have Coots, you're probably rolling with 14 forwards and 7 defensemen, which I'm not sure they're super hot on doing. So yeah, I was just thinking of that, just like, oh, Forbert's not there, and he's kind of the guy that you tag in, and it's like, well, okay, if that's potentially going to be the Friday roster, he's not going to be playing again till later. But he's someone who does get it, is actually rather injury prone,
Mm.
which makes sense when you basically eat pucks on the penalty kill.
Yeah, and he's one of the best penalty killers in the absolute league. Is
Yep.
what he is. All right, so again, tomorrow or today, I guess it matters what time you're watching this. Abbotsford Center, 7 p.m. Go watch the game. It's gonna be great. And apparently, I haven't seen anything from Sportsnet, which is interesting. And it's most likely almost 100% going to be streamed on Canucks.com. So we'll have that at the very least. And again, I will be doing a pre-show. So look out for that, Corey. Thank you for joining us once again.
Thanks for having me.
Always. Cheers, guys.